Well, everybody, let's begin this HTML web page creation tutorial. For this exercise, we are going to use the web developer tool Notepad++. Here it is. And before starting, I'm going to show you guys the expected result for today's work. So let's click here in this home page. Okay. In this page, we have several elements such as text using different heading tags. We have some multimedia elements, for example, this video. I can play, pause this video, mute, and even the full screen icon. 3 images with respective footnotes. Okay, let's close this. The following activity contains 7 steps. So, during the steps, I will show you how to create these kind of pages in an easy way. So, let's go. The first stage of this tutorial will be preparing folders and files. So, the first part is create the big folder that will contain all the elements our web page needs. So I'm going to create this test website folder, and inside I'm going to create 3 folders. One for images, another for sounds, and finally one more for video. Also, in every folder, my suggestion for you is that every element you downloaded or you guys download from internet must be saved in the corresponding folder. In this case, I'm copying and pasting the images that I'm going to use for the web page I showed you before. In addition, I'm going to copy the video, the MP4 video I played in the web page, and I'm going to prepare my video folder, as you guys can see. Now, after the folders, we need the elements we are going to use. So here in the desktop, I have 2 files, a table template file and a CSS file that will contain the formatting options you guys will use. So I'm gonna copy, paste it, and so far now my website folder is complete, all ready to start using it. Now, if you want some free pictures or with Creative Commons license pictures, you can check this page, freepik.com. You can search anything you want and have fun with cool pictures. Okay, stage 1 is now complete. Now we're starting the page template setup. In this file that I'm already saving into the folder, we have an HTML template previously created. Also, I found online this picture with this web page template. Our mission will be to recreate this template into our web page. If you check, we have several sections such as a red banner as the header, the body with pictures, list, and text, and a simple footer. So right click, edit with Notepad++, and as you guys can see, we have tags previously added for me. We have a table tag, and our table contains 6 rows and 6 columns. Our first mission will be to combine the first row. Because we have 6 cells, we are going to use the attribute called span. Save, run, and as you guys can see, I'm already combined the first cell into 6. We have 5 more cells. We don't need it. Let's check again. Okay, now I have the header section for the banner, this red section. Now it's time to move on. For the second row, we need to modify the height. As you guys can see, the second row will be used for the menus. So, the default size of 200 pixels will be changed for this number. Let's use 50, I guess. Okay. Now, every time we refresh the page, we can see changes or new results. Move on. Now, according to my template or my reference picture, the next row will contain 3 cells. Back to Notepad++, and now using the call span attribute, we are going to divide these 6 cells into 2. But first, let's adjust the height and then use the call span attribute. Remember, the syntax for every attribute will be the attribute, equal sign, quotation mark, and the value. Let's refresh. Okay. It's a suitable size. Go back. Now I'm gonna copy this. Remember, using the Ctrl+C shortcut or keyboard command and then Ctrl+B, we can do things easier. Okay, 3 times, call span 2, save. As you guys can see, I save every step I'm doing, and then we refresh the page in order to see the results. Okay, let's check again our reference picture. Now we have 4 images. Let's make some adjustment. Let's use only 3. The reason is because you guys are using a 6x6 table, but in case you need more rows or more columns, you just need to copy and paste several TR sections in this template. Okay, I'm gonna use only 3 pictures. It's more comfortable, I guess. So I'm gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna keep the standard height of 300 pixels. Save. Back to the browser, and then let's refresh. Okay, now we have another row, and for the footer we are going to combine the 6 cells. So again, call span equal quotations 6 close quotation mark. I'm going to delete the extra cells, and we don't need the last row, so let's erase that. Save, refresh, and now we have the structure of the table we are going to use for inserting every element we need in this activity. Well, for some final adjustments, we are going to edit the height of the final or the last row. Okay, let's put 100, and I guess we're done, and we're ready to move on to the next stage. Stage 3. Thank you for being here, and now let's work on the CSS file that will contain the formatting options for our web page. First, we are going to adjust the table to fit into the browser window by using the command I show you. If you type in width 100%, your table will adjust automatically to the browser window. Now, I'm going to go back, and now we are going to edit this file called page style. Right click, open with Notepad++, and now in this file, this CSS file, you can see no tags on it. We are going to modify the black text on this file. So first, let's analyze this picture a little bit. We have text in yellow and white, different sizes. So we are going to use similar colors for this. Inside my folder, in order to do things quickly, I'm already saved this HTML color code table. I guess this color, this dark gray color, is suitable for the body of my page. So I'm going to check in the body section these words, British blue. I'm going to delete these words and I'm going to replace it by the hexadecimal color code. In this case, this dark gray is 6 times 3. And now, for the headings or for text, I'm going to use this dark yellow color code. So for the first heading tag, the H1 tag, I'm going to put the hexadecimal color code FF, CZ, and 00. Okay. The font family, in this case, I'm going to use only sans serif fonts, Tahoma, for example. The size, because this is for my titles, I'm going to select 24, and the alignment, let's switch from British English center, I'm going to put center. For the second heading, I'm going to use white colors. So I'm going to put the code for white, FF, FF, FF. Let's keep the font family into Arial. Font size 18 is a suitable one. And text align, let's use Justify. For the next heading, let's use some light gray color. For example, this one, CC, CC, and CC. So I'm going to replace this for headings, and also I'm going to do the same thing for the list, because in the example we are going to use unordered list. The last two lines can be adjusted too. The only difference is, for example, for this unordered list style sheet, we can adjust the shape of the bullet point we are going to use. As a default option, we have the word disk, but you can use another type of bullet point. For example, I'm going to use the word circle. Once we add list, you can see the change. Same for the last one, paragraph. Let's save. And now it's time to link this CSS file to our web page template. So let's go back to the HTML file, and now we are going to use a simple line code to link these two files, or to tell the template file that please use the CSS style file to apply colors for headings, backgrounds, and everything. So after the title tag, the title closing tag, sorry, we are going to use the following command. Link, the href attribute, the structure, and now inside the quotation marks we are going to put the name of my file. In my case, I'm using the name page style CSS. Remember that you must replace that name with your file name. The second attribute will be the relative style sheet, because we are using an style sheet file. And finally, this file type is a text file. Okay, let's close the tab. And it's time to test. Save. Let's refresh the page. And voila. Now we have the dark gray body color we already selected. Remember, in this last command line? That's it. Now, it's time to add some colors to the table. If we check the sample picture again. So, as you guys can see, with this simple command line and this simple link tag, we can see or we can link HTML files with CSS files. Now, it's time to change the color of rows 3 and 4. So, in order to add colors to some rows, we are going to use or modify the TR tag. The first row will be used as the banner. So, for the third row, we are going to use several attributes such as the align, that will tell us that every element inside this row will be aligned in the middle. Also, or in addition, we are going to use the align attribute center, and finally the BG color attribute. Checking my HTML color code, I'm going to use this kind of gray color. So quotation mark, hashtag, and then 6 times 6. With these 3 attributes, we can see some results during our web page creation. Now, as you guys can see, I have a similar color in the third row, and I'm going to do the same thing in the next row. So, in order to make things easier, I'm going to copy the 3 attributes and I'm going to paste it in the next TR tag. Let's hit space once. Let's hit the backspace. Let's refresh. And now we get it. As a final part, in the first row, we are going to use an image as a background. So, if I go to the first TR tag in our example, we are going to use the same values, the same attributes, but instead, the BG color, let's use the background attribute. For the background attribute, we must notice into our folder that we must check the extension file for my image. I'm using this red banner image called back1 and PNG. So, for this example, first we are going to put the folder name, images, slash, and then the name of my picture followed by the extension file. Refresh, and now we have the banner, the columns, the rows, all elements in my table are already set up with the colors and everything. Okay, stage 4. Time to make a pause if you want, or if you want to move on, let's go. For this stage, we are going to start adding text. But before adding some text, we are going to insert inside the first row another image. Remember that we are using the back one image as a background, so I can add more images over this background, and in this opportunity we are going to use a logo image. So check that if you want to insert elements inside the table, you must insert every tag. For example, this tag, this image tag, inside or in the middle or between the TD tags, as I'm doing with this logo tag. For this image tag, I'm going to use 3 attributes: the source attribute, the alternative text in case we don't have internet or there probably found some problems, a height of 200 pixels, and we are going to put our logo to the left. Let's save, let's refresh, and now you can see the logo. This PNG picture is or has transparent background, and now it's time to add some text. We are going to delete this text sample, and now we are going to create an H1 tag. Remember that we previously adjust the heading tags H1, H2 and H3 in our CSS file. So I'm going to put the H1 tag. Remember that the color of heading 1 is dark yellow. Now we have the first title, home. Let's copy and paste it, deleting this sample text. And now we are going to adjust after this the titles that I want for the menus on my web page. For the menus I'm going to replace the word home for tips. I'm going to use a gallery. It's important to have an about us also, and some contact page. For the last menu, let's try to use a search menu. And now we're done. If we save and we go to our browser and then click on refresh, now you guys can see that the text is now in dark yellow and is using the Tahoma font type. Our menu is ready. It doesn't matter if the next rows switch or change its width. In the moment we add the elements, we can adjust these rows or these columns automatically or using more attributes. Okay, now it's time to edit the first column, so let's check how I'll do this. I'm going to create a command line, and now let's zoom in this a little bit. H1 I'm going to use for this title some kind of alignment. Let's select left, and now the title, latest news. I'm going to close the H1. And now, in order to put some paragraphs, I'm going to first create a break line, and I'm going to use the second heading, H2. For the H2, I just prepared previously several test paragraphs or lorem ipsum paragraphs. So here in this Word file, I have several paragraphs that are already downloaded from the web. I'm going to copy this short paragraph. Here we go. Okay, let's adjust this a little bit. If you just hit enter, you can adjust the paragraph. Okay, better. Let's close the heading tag and let's test the result. Okay, latest news. Something happened. Latest news is not aligned to the left. Oh, right. It's because we already selected several attributes in our row. So the be aligned and the align attributes are predominant in this. So in order to adjust the column, we are going to use this width tag to reduce the size. As you guys can see, I'm reducing the size. Okay, it's quite big, so let's reduce one more time, 400 pixels. Okay, one more try, I guess. Okay, looks better. Now, as I told you before, the latest news is centered, so we don't need to add more alignment attributes. So I'm going to delete several elements because, as you guys remember, the H1 tag will always be at the center according to our CSS file. So we can delete this, and we don't have to be worried about alignments, font types, or font sizes, even colors. Okay, now we're ready to add more elements. And here we are, stage 5. Now, the second part, it's time to insert some videos. So first, let's check the name of the video we want to insert, and if we check the properties, it is important that you guys know the extension file of your video files. Can be MP4, OGG, AVI. So in order to insert a video in this cell, first let's include a title, new video. Remember, H1 tag tells us that the video title will be in yellow, centered, and using Tahoma. Now, for insert the video, we are going to use the video tag, and first we need to select the resolution for our video. Here I'm showing you some standard video resolutions. Okay, for this example we are going to use 512 by 384. This word controls activates the pause, mute, and full screen buttons for interacting with the video. Now, for a second tag, we are going to use the source tag. The attribute src, in quotations, we are going to use the videos folder / and then the video name followed by the extension file. And at the end, we need to tell to the page the video type we're using. In this case, MP4. Remember guys, if your videos are in OGG, AVI, WMV, you have to specify that. Okay, let's close the tag. Something's happening. Video word is in red. Let's check the syntax. Probably we missed something. Oh yes, we didn't close the source tag. So, sorry for that. I'm going to close the angle bracket, and now we're ready to test video. And now let's refresh the page. Here we have. Now we have the video. Controls are ready to operate. Now you guys can see the video is playing. You can mute the video. You can go on full screen mode if you want. Check. It's a very good resolution video. Or you can navigate with the scroll bar in the bottom part of the video player. So we're ready. Let's try to add some text in order to make things more static. So let's reduce a little bit the video because we have a very big column. Okay, looks nice. And now it's time to add more text. Let's use the heading 2 tag. Let's repeat the same process we did in the previous column. Let's select and copy some random text. Adjust this. Okay. Do not forget always to close the tags, except for a few tags. All tags must be closed. Remember that. Okay, let's check the results. Okay, wow, we have a big column. Oh, right, we need to adjust the width of our column. So, here in the row, okay, in this cell, let's use the same attribute we used before, and let's use the same value, 250, in order to keep things in balance. Here we are. And now we are done. Now for the last cell, let's insert a list. So let's check the last cell. Here it is. Let's delete the text sample. And now with the following tags I'm going to show you, we are going to insert an unordered list in order to test and check the list section in our CSS file. Remember, in the CSS file we have 3 headings, some line for lists and some line for paragraphs, and also a line for body. So I'm going to show you in a short way how to create list. If you guys remember as well, we switch or change the word disk for circle. So once I'm done with this, you guys will see the difference in the bullet points. For creating list, remember that you must start with the UL tag and then use the LI tag and put every text or element between the LI opening tag and the LI closing tag. Every time we do this, we're telling the system that please organize the elements by using bullet points, and the UL tag will activate the list. So in other words, we'll organize elements into a list, obviously. Now let's create a top 6. Let's put some random software. I don't know, Kaspersky antivirus. What else? Okay, Linux. Let's use some other operating systems. Could be Mac OS. And for the last 2, let's use Android. And finally, one of the last versions of iOS. Alright, it's time to check. Oh, I almost forgot. You have to close the UR tag. Let's save. And now we have our top 6. As you guys can see, the bullet points are circles, but I guess we need to adjust the color in order to keep things in balance. If you guys remember, we didn't switch the color. The color is in black. Let's switch the color into white. That's it. Every time you save, any adjustments you did or you do in the CSS file will automatically adjust your web page, as you guys can see. Well, video and list are complete. Let's move on to some images insertion. Stage 6. 2 more stages to go. Hang in there. So now it's time to add some pictures, some images in our page. Now you guys know that before inserting images, you must save some pictures in your images folder. In order to be more organized with this, we have to keep these advices in mind. Now, you already know how to insert elements within cells. So in this row, I'm going to insert the first image. I'm going to use the img tag src attribute. Remember, first I'm going to put the folder name images followed by the slash symbol and then the picture. In this case, the picture is a JPG picture. Keep these things in mind, because if you don't specify this extension file, you will have trouble, or you have several issues by activating images in your web pages. The alternative text for this example will be save. Oh, we forgot the quotation mark, will be save, and let's specify a height size of 300. Remember that these numbers are in pixels. The last heading tag. In this example, remember that we are using 3 different heading types. So, in order to create some kind of footnote or text for this image, we are going to use this tag. Okay, this is done. Let's refresh and check the result. As you guys can see, I have my picture, safety 1, followed by a short text, a short footnote. As we did before, let's adjust the width of my cell in 250, the default value, okay, and let's make one more adjustment. Let's insert a break line in order to separate the image from the edge of our cell. So After this, let's insert a break line tag, another tag that you don't need to close. Very good. Now we're done. In order to make things easier for you and for me, obviously, let's copy the command lines we already insert before and just switch the names of the files in order to insert two more different images. Okay, we're almost done. As you guys can see, I just switch or add numbers for the alternative text, for the pictures. Okay, let's adjust the width of every cell. I'm already adjusted or I'm already used. Remember that we're using the 250 width size. Let's include this here, and let's include this here as well. And I guess we're barely done. Let's refresh. Now, as you guys can see, everything is in balance. One more thing. If you want to add some styles to your images, there's an easy way I suggest you guys. And this way is using the following page that I'm going to show you. If you type www.w3schools.com, you will find a library with a lot of tags, HTML tags, CSS styles, Bootstrap files, JavaScript files, and tutorials and everything you want to check in order to improve your knowledge about HTML. For example, if you click in the CSS menu and the CSS style image, you will see several styles for images that you can use for your pages or for your web pages. Filters, radius, and if you want to add, for example, in this case, the image transparency, you can click on do it yourself, and then analyzing the syntax or analyzing the structure of the programming language, the only thing you need to do is copy these command lines and paste it into your web page. Check and have fun with this. Okay, one more stage to go. Let's go and learn how to add some hyperlinks. I want to start this stage by thanking you guys for being here in this tutorial. I hope you guys are learning something new. So, hands on. It's time to add some hyperlinks. But first, let's make some final adjustments to our page. As you guys can see, the picture doesn't have cell spacing attributes in the sample. First, let's switch the name Untitled document for the name of our page. Let's remove the border. Let's remove the cell padding, and let's insert a new attribute, cell spacing, and adjust the value to 0. You will see the results in a moment. So, once we refresh, as you guys can see, I deleted that tiny spaces or those tiny spaces into our sample page. If you are comfortable with this, for example, once we deleted the spaces, you guys can see that it's better to set some cell padding. Once we refresh, now the texts are a little bit separated. Let's add more values. Okay, that looks better for me. Now we're ready to start inserting hyperlinks. But if we need to insert hyperlinks, we must rename first this file. Remember that we were using a table template, so I'm going to save my page as home page. Okay, I already had a home page before, so I'm going to replace that. And in the meantime, I just save a new page, tips, with its corresponding CSS stylesheet file. This page is similar, but the banner has some blue background and the video is not working. So let's link these two pages for this exercise example. In order to do that, let's go to the home title. We are going to transform the word home into a hyperlink by using the A tag. After you put the A tag, it is important that you put the reference into the reference, the name of your page, in this case, the home page, and then, close quotations, after the text or the image. Remember that inside or between A tags, you can put image tags or simply text. Okay, it's done. Now let's do the same thing for tips. H reference, and now I'm going to put the name of the second page, tips.html. Remember that extension files are important all the time. Now I have this home and tips. Let's save and let's test. Okay, let's refresh. Now you guys can see that the pointers change into a tiny hand. If I click on tips, I go to tips. But you guys can see that in tips page, there are no hyperlinks created. So we need to create hyperlinks in the tip page as well as we did into the home page. So let's open the tips page in Notepad++. As you guys can see, no hyperlinks have been created. So let's copy these two command lines. These two are the same, and replace those. Here we go. Okay, here we have. Let's refresh. And now you guys can see that we already created a short and easy navigation exercise by using the A tag. Okay, we're almost done. No, we're done. Now we have hyperlinks, now we have video, now we have images, now we have text. If we check this, we can see that we did an outstanding work. If we zoom out this a little bit, you will see that the page looks similar to the one I found online. Well, 7 stages. Okay, let's check the entire transformation of the template. As you guys can see, we added a lot of elements. But one more comparison. Check the previous file and now check the final result. We did a lot of things, didn't we? So, this is the end of this tutorial. Thank you so much. If you want to leave a comment in the comments box, I really appreciate this. Thanks again, and see you in the next course. Bye bye.